All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Music City Trop Rock. My name is Jason Acey, and I will be your host here, coming to you live from Leaky Tiki Studios in Nashville, Tennessee. Actually, a little bit outside of Nashville. Actually, we're out in the boondocks. And we like to say around here, if you find our house, you're lost. So here we go. No turning back now. This is going to be the pilot episode of Music City Trop Rock, and I have a mission statement right off the bat, and kind of going to try to tell you kind of what this is going to be about and why I'm doing it, and all the who's, wins, and all that. This is going to be a series on my YouTube channel, this YouTube channel, Jason AC Official, and I think I mentioned that in the little video that I did like last week or whatever it was that I was trying to advertise for this, and going to try to do a good job. We're going to talk about Trop Rock. We're gonna do some interviews with some artists and some people in the industry. It's not just going to be artists; it's going to be all sorts of people that are involved in the Trop Rock industry. So we'll have a little variation there, and there will be some episodes where it's just me talking about something that needs to be talked about, or some type of important news in the Trop Rock world. And I have notes here. I'm not going to lie. This is the pilot episode, and I have specific things that I want to say and specific things that I want to talk about. And I can't remember all this. I'm not that smart or that young. So I have notes that I will be referring to. So don't shoot me. So as some of you know, let me turn that off. As some of you know, I'm a Trop Rock artist, and I have some music out there in the universe. But this, and I'm not going to stop doing that. That's my main focus, is to do that. But this is just another creative outlet for me, and another way to contribute to the Trop Rock world. And that's the thing about Trop Rock, and maybe this will help that issue out, is that a lot of people don't know what Trop Rock is, even though it's a huge community in the United States and worldwide, really. But if you don't know what Trop Rock is, you just don't know. And maybe we're going to talk about that a little bit more. We're going to talk about the definition and what it is and what it isn't. Hopefully that will clear up some things that maybe there's some people viewing in here or that are going to watch this in the future that don't know what Trop Rock is. And maybe this will be some good information for you. And I just wanted to bring awareness and of Trop Rock and what it is. And, it's mainly made up of, I would say it's mainly made up of parrot head clubs and fans of Jimmy Buffett that have found other artists that they can lump into that same genre. And we're going to talk about the genre too, because that's another issue. So, there's a lot of people out there that don't know what Trop Rock is. So we're going to talk about that. So here comes the mission statement. Maybe through this show, this podcast, video cast, whatever it is, which, by the way, I'm going to try to figure out how to put on Facebook too in the future. But right now we're just on YouTube. But maybe through this show, we can, number one, increase fandom of Trop Rock. Number two, we can help push memberships of parrot head organizations and Trop Rock Music Association. That would be great because, the main focus of parrot head clubs and organizations is charity. They do a lot of work, raise a lot of money for different charities. They all have their specific charities that they like to contribute to. And Trop Rock Music Association and Meeting of the Minds that's taking place in October, they raise a lot of money for charity. So that's something we can't overlook, something we want to further and do our part in. So I don't have every single detail of this podcast mapped out or planned. So forgive me. We're going to figure it out as we go. We're going to make some things better. If we see some things on here that doesn't work or that we can make better, then we'll improve it. And if you know of things, that you'd like to see, then please, please let me know in the comments or send me send me a message on some of my socials, or call me if you have my number, text me, whatever. If there's artists or people that you think would be a good guest on this show, then let me know. And if you know them, let them know. All right, I see Alan Jax Bowers in the comments there. Hey, Alan. Jax, I guess I should say that's what you're known as. So let me go back to this. And like I said, I'm still figuring all this out too. So, all right, I have a few artists, people that I have bamboozled into agreeing to be on my show. And I'm working on some more as we speak. So as news comes out, as they agree, then I will post that and let you know who's going to be on there. And hopefully the people that that do wind up being guests on this show, they will, post it and tell their friends and their fans, and it can kind of grow that way. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. The hardest part about this show is going to be the scheduling. As of right now, Monday is my big day off. This is Sunday, but that's because I'm going to be busy tomorrow. But I wanted to get the first episode, the pilot episode, out there and kind of get the ball rolling and kind of set the tone and tell you about it. So I don't have to do this every time, but and kind of break the ice, because this is all new to me. I've never done this. I've done a podcast before, and that's still up, and we can talk about that another time. But being on camera and learning how to do all this is all new to me. So I'm learning as we go. All right. But for right now, I think it's going to be on Monday nights is what I'm planning on. Not every Monday, but if you follow me on the socials, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff, then you will see I will be posting schedules and you can keep up when it's going to be. All right. So now we're going to talk about, before we go too far, we're going to talk about our calendar of guests that we have so far. All right. So next Monday, August the 19th, I feel like I need to turn this mic down a little bit. If somebody in there would let me know. Is it okay? Is the mic okay? All right. Turn it down just a hair. August 19th, next Monday, will be Manalo. He's going to call in and on video in, and we're going to do hopefully, 20, 30 minutes, something like that. Not too long. Something you can watch on your lunch break or whenever. Yeah, I think I called him the Pennsylvania Island Boy or something like that last time I talked about this on a video. But really cool guy, good songwriter, has a really unique style of his own. Looking forward to talking to him next Monday. Then September 9th is going to be Mark Mulch. Mark, I met Mark a long time ago, even though I don't think either one of us remembers it. He used to perform on the Billy Block show in Nashville, and we performed on there with my wife years ago. We both got to town about the same time. Mark's a really good singer, good songwriter. He's kind of new to the Trop Rock world, just like me. So we're going to have him on and talk about some of the stuff that they've got going on. September 23rd is going to be musician, drummer, producer extraordinaire Alan Jax Bowers from Florida. I don't know if he's from Florida, but I know he lives in Florida. I got to try to do all this and keep on. My wife said yes, turn down. So I'm turning down some. Let's see. Tell me if that's good. Tell me if that's better. Jax Bowers is going to be on the 23rd. All right. October 7th, I just got confirmation of this a day or so ago. October 7th, Kirsty Krause is going to be on. So that's our calendar of guests so far. We have other people.
You're fine.
Oh, do not turn down. Okay. Don't turn down. I misread. Okay. My wife just infiltrated the studio here and let me know what was up. Thank you. Thank you so much. I needed that. I need the feedback. See, we're going to make things better. All right. We're now going to talk about what is Trop Rock. So here's where my notes come in, and bear with me. Bear with me. Because this is a convoluted subject. I think, and these are my words. We're going to get into somebody else's words here in a minute. I think Trop Rock is a natural attraction for people that grew up in the 60s, 70s, 80s, all that time frame of really good music. I think they naturally, especially now with the music industry the way it is. They may not have things that they really like. So moving over to Trop Rock and finding all these artists and this type of music, I think is a natural progression. Um, and of course, Trop Rock wouldn't exist if it weren't for Jimmy Buffett and everything that he did. And he created this whole thing. But as far as classification goes, classification of Trop Rock music is a tricky thing. And we'll talk about that a little bit. Right now it's a wide, deep bucket, and it really doesn't have any parameters per se. I know you have some artists that have come from the rock world, and you have some artists that have come from the country world, like me, and somehow have found their way into writing and singing about the beach and vacation and all the kind of things that Jimmy sang about. And that's kind of what pulls people into this Trop Rock world. All those kind of things kind of work together to form Trop Rock. I think different people have different definitions for it, of what Trop Rock is, and that's okay. For me, I know a lot of people use the word escapism, and I believe that's fitting. That's a fitting description. But the subject matter of the music and the instrumentation really plays a part and can push a song into that arena of Trop Rock if it really wasn't before. So there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of elements that make a Trop Rock song, and it's kind of hard to pin down. And that brings me to a concern that I have about the genre. And y'all bear with me. I'm just comfortable. This is going to be it's going to be laid back and casual. Okay, that's the only way I know how to do it, so that I can stay calm. Anyway, there's an issue with genre of Trop Rock, and that is, as far as artists, and I have noticed this, and I'm sure that other Trop Rock artists have ran into this obstacle. I won't say problem, it's an obstacle, but it could be much better. I personally use DistroKid to distribute my music, and it has come up through them, and it has come up through Spotify and places like that. When you're putting your songs up to be distributed, or in the case of Spotify, to be considered for a playlist and how you're describing it, there is no choice for Trop Rock. You either have to choose songwriter or country or Americana or stuff like that. But the genre Trop Rock does not exist on those platforms, and probably on none of the other platforms. And I think it should, because it would make it so much easier for the general public, for people to say, if they heard, oh, this such and such is Trop Rock, then they went and searched on Spotify or whatever Trop Rock. Now there are some playlists, but there needs to be an official genre. And there needs to be an official genre for Spotify and for iTunes, and for all these distribution companies need to have Trop Rock as a genre. Now, I don't know how we can change that. I don't know if Trop Rock Music Association could lobby somebody to get that done. I don't know. Y'all get on that, because it would be extremely beneficial for independent artists in this genre if that were a thing. So basically, what have we said so far? What is Trop Rock? It is a genre without a genre. Yes. All right. Moving right along. Let's look at the history of Trop Rock for a minute. This is from Wikipedia, and I'm going to read a couple of paragraphs for you. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit. I'm going to read a couple of paragraphs for you. I probably don't even need these headphones, but I do to hear some of this other stuff that's going on. But anyway, according to Wikipedia, Trop Rock, also known as Gulf and Western, and we know that's the way Jimmy Buffett described his music. Trop Rock is a genre of popular music that incorporates elements and influences of rock, reggae, country, folk, calypso, zydeco, and pop music, with themes and musical compositions inspired by an island lifestyle. There we go. Although today Trop Rock is usually associated with Southern Florida and Gulf Coast of the United States, Trop Rock has its roots in calypso, rock, country by artists such as Jerry Jeff Walker. Jimmy Buffett and his Coral Reefer Band, it says, helped create a tropical subculture beginning in the early to mid 1980s. I would say earlier than that, along with other artists, including Bertie Higgins. Okay, this is still Wikipedia, okay? Instrumentation is usually based around an acoustic guitar as well as electric instrumentation and often includes steel drums, congas, marimbas, vibraphones, steel guitars, or other percussion instruments to create an island sound. While country and other musical styles focus on falling in love or falling out of love as themes. Trop Rock's main focus is on escapism, a laid back lifestyle, tropical places, boating, simplifying, and having fun. I would agree with all that. Buffett is often referred to as the pop of Trop Rock. I don't like that term. King of Trop Rock, creator of Trop Rock, I would say. Alongside his Coral Reefer Band and other artists like Higgins helped create a tropical subculture beginning in the early to mid 1980s. Kind of already said that. Mainstream artists such as Jack Johnson, Zac Brown Band, Alan Jackson, and Kenny Chesney also have songs in the genre as well. Now, this is still Wikipedia, but this is very interesting. This is where I learned something from this Wikipedia post, and I'm going to say it right here. In the year 2000, 24 years ago, Dennis King of Island Time Radio began programming this format on the air at WBWC in Cleveland, Ohio, and streaming worldwide on Monday nights. He now has a radio show that airs on Radio Trop Rock every Thursday at noon, and I think Monday at 6 p.m. he has two different shows on Radio Trop Rock. But I didn't know that Dennis King was a pioneer of this genre back in 2024 years ago. So thank you, Mr. King, for being instrumental in this industry and to this genre. And this is still Wikipedia. Radio Margaritaville, available on SiriusXM, also plays many of the genre's hits. As the genre flourished with guidance of the Trop Rock Music Association, independently owned internet radio stations began to rise to popularity within the Trop Rock genre. End quote. So that brings us to an interesting topic, which my wife brought to my attention. What is the difference between Trop Rock and Yacht Rock? Well, they are loosely related, but they are distant cousins, I would say. Yacht Rock is like a West Coast, Southern California yachting community music, soft rock, easy listening of the 70s and 80s. There are definitely some songs that cross-pollinate between Trop Rock and Yacht Rock, but like the song, Christopher Cross's song Sailing comes to mind when I think Trop Rock. That's kind of the first thing I think about. But I think the definition of Yacht Rock, just like Trop Rock, is elusive at best. All right. So, did that clear it up? I don't know. So, I believe, this is my words, I believe a few more songs that helped kick things off for Trop Rock were Key Largo by Bertie Higgins and Escape by Rupert Holmes, to the Pina Colada song. But really, in my opinion, it all started in 1976 with the release of Changes in Latitudes by Jimmy Buffett. Songs such as Changes, Landfall, Miss You So Badly, and of course Margaritaville forever changed the landscape of popular music. I think that's when it all started. That's my opinion. Take it as you will. There have been many artists in the big leagues that have taken up the mantle since, and even if they just had one toe in it, it helped to keep it going. I won't be interviewing any of those big league people, I'm sure, but that's the reason for this podcast. I want to interview the independent artists that are out there right now that are making the music, that are making new Trop Rock music, that are keeping this thing alive. And if you enjoy this genre, or if you're new to it and you find that you enjoy it, it's really important for us to get out and support live music and support Trop Rock music, and specifically. I know that I try to support it as much as possible, but I'm not independently wealthy, so I still have a job that I have to attend to every once in a while. But like I said, we try to get out as much as we can and see some different people, especially if I'm not playing. So where can you hear? This is the where. Where can you hear Trop Rock music? Well, apart from going out to the clubs and these venues that people play, there's house concerts, and we're going to do like a special edition on house concerts here in a few weeks. Also, there's radio stations. There's internet radio stations. And so I'm going to share this slide with you. Here we go. We high tech now. See that? Now, this is not all of the internet radio stations that play trop rock music, but this is a quick list that I put together. And I especially try to listen to all these stations here, and they're not in any particular order, but number 1, Radio Trop Rock. Number 2, Radio A1A. Number 3, Tiki Man Radio. Number 4, Beach Radio. Number 5, Sandcastle Radio. Number 6, Radio SPF. Number 7, Palm Tree Radio. Number 8, Pirate Radio with a Y. Number 9, Pirate Head Radio. Number 10, Palapa Mac Radio. Number 11, Songwriters Island. Number 12, Tiki Pod Radio. 13, Beachfront Radio. 14, Oyster Radio. And I want to tell you a really short little story about Pirate Radio, number 8 with the Y, and how I came upon that, because it was my first introduction into that radio stations like this even existed. And the really short story is that for a long time, I've wanted to learn how to sail. And I'm in Middle Tennessee, but I went out and bought a sailboat with plans on putting it, and I've told this story, I think, on my channel a couple of times, but with plans on putting it on Percy Priest Lake and learning how to sail. That has not happened yet. That's another story for another time. But I also, at the same time, started buying sailing magazines and watching sailing videos on YouTube and following all these video channels on YouTube, watching how to sail and all this stuff. But anyway, in the sailing magazines, I was flipping through the back at the advertisements in the back, and I saw an advertisement for Pirate Radio. First time I'd ever seen anything like that. I said, oh, what is this? This looks interesting because I like pirates. And so started listening to it, and that introduced me to the world of these radio stations. I love all these radio stations. I want to invite all these radio stations to, if you want to be a part of this show, or maybe we can work together in some kind of way, give me a shout, and you can broadcast this if you want to, or whatever. We can come up with something. But like I said, this is I'm not doing this to promote me, and there may be a conflict of interest there. I'm really not doing this to promote me. I want to promote trop rock music. Okay. So of these radio stations, there are some that have their own charts, like lists or rankings that they put out on a weekly basis or monthly or whatever. They're all kind of different. And there may be more that do it, but right off the top of my head, I know Radio Trop Rock has their Trop 40. Radio Trop Rock has the Buzzin' Dozen. Palm Tree Radio has a hot list. Radio SPF has a most requested list that they publish. Beach Radio has the Big 30. Tiki Pod Radio has their Island Heat. Now, I wish there was a way that you could compile all these into a master list, and have maybe Trop Rock Music Association could come up with a way to take all this information and create an official Trop Rock chart that they would publish once a week or whatever, however they want to do it. I know that would be, and it's all volunteer, I know that would be a huge undertaking, but what if there was a way that these stations could submit their lists, and somebody that's smarter on computers than I am, maybe you could dump all that information into a program, and it would spit out rankings for that week, and it would be published. And then we would have an official chart, like Billboard. It would be Trop Rock, top 40 for Trop Rock, an official countdown, an official ranking. I think that would go a long way for the Trop Rock Association and artists. I think we should look into that. If somebody's got an idea about how to make that happen, let's make it happen. All right, let's see. I'm going to remove this because now we have Trop Rock News. All right, I let it play it twice. I thought it would just go away. So this is going to be hopefully it's going to be a normal segment. I'll try to condense it as much as possible. Try not to repeat myself on certain on sequential shows, but we're going to talk about some Trop Rock news, some things that just happened, and some things that are going to happen. And we're kind of late in the summer now, so a lot of things have already happened. Um, but like number one, I got on my list. This is some things I wrote down this week, just trying to have some news to talk about. Number one, Parrot Head Frenzy in Tallahassee. It just happened. It looks like they had Jason Webb and the Caribbean Chillers putting on a big show for them down there in Tallahassee. Let's see. Number two, we all know Meeting of the Minds is coming up October 22nd to 22nd through 27th. And what this is, if you don't know, it's like the National Parrot Head Convention. This is taking place in Gulf Shores, Alabama. This is the second year it's been there. Previously, it was in Key West. Previously, it was in New Orleans, I believe. But this year's theme is I have found me a home, because they have moved to a new home, and I'm glad they're staying in Gulf Shores because it is much closer for me, and that is a totally selfish reason that I'm glad they're staying there. I've been going to Gulf Shores for at least 20 years and love it. So, yeah. Let's see. The big news for this year for Meeting of the Minds is Coral Reefer Band will be playing there 7:30 Friday, and I think Mac is playing Saturday night. But we will talk about more about Meeting of the Minds when it gets closer to the end of October. We'll talk about the schedule and who's playing and all that kind of stuff. I will be there. I am not playing. I'm not playing it this year, but I will be there, and that's going to be a good opportunity for me to interview some people and maybe do some live stream videos, and we'll have a good time with that. All right, we'll talk about more of that in the coming weeks. Number three. Let me move my paper here. Get it out of the way. High tech. This is like David Letterman. Remember? I'm telling you my age now. Let's see. Number three, Will Kimbrough at Homegrown Tap Room, September 7th. This is in Donaldson in Nashville. This is some local news. I think me and my wife are going to try to go that. It's $25 a ticket. The last I saw, they had less than 20 tickets available, so we better go ahead and jump on that. Number four, Peter and Brendan Mayer. This was just last night. They played at City Winery Saturday night. I could not go because I had to I drove to North Carolina Friday night, and then Saturday helped my son move back to Tennessee, which we're all happy about. It's going to be a new chapter in his life starting out. We're all happy for him and praying for him. All right. Number five, Kitty Stedman and others are going to be at the Listening Room August 13th at 6 p.m. Number six here, there's a film that's out now. It's called All That Is Sacred. It is on Yeti.com. It's put together and produced by Yeti. I've not watched it yet, but I have it bookmarked to watch. Let's see it. It says featuring interviews with Tom McGuane, Jimmy Buffett, and more. It's a new documentary that takes viewers back to the wild magic of the 1970s Key West. This film explores legendary crew of fish-loving writers and artists. It's 34 minutes long, and I saw a trailer to it, and it has a lot of old video of Jimmy Buffett and all those guys back there in the 70s Key West, so that's going to be interesting to watch. All right, and number seven, I'm sorry. Riverfest at St. John's River in Jacksonville, Florida. It's going to be September 6th and 7th. They are going to have, and this is really when I need my glasses on, because I wrote this, but I wrote this kind of small, and it's going to be hard for me to read. They're going to have John McDonnell, Jesse Rice, Joe Downing, Ray Boone, Mac Martin, Beth Travers, Dave Sines, Jackson Turner, and Jesse Ritter. All right, and the last item on my news list is the Labor Day Weekend Show in Louisville, August 31st through September 1st. Saturday is going to be Donnie Brewer, Crystal King, Floating Collective. If you don't know who Floating Collective is, that is the Coral Reefer Band offspring band. That is the children, the youngsters of the Coral Reefer Band. Check them out. They got music out on streaming platforms. Got some good stuff out. Also, Eat, Drink, and Be Happy. Sunday is Bob Carwin, Kirsty Krause, Doyle Grisham, my neighbor down the road here, John Frenzy, and Peter Mayer. And then there's also going to be an all-star tribute show. So that's going to wrap us up. I hope you enjoyed it. This is going to give you a little taste of what this show is going to be about, plus artist interviews and interviews from other people. So I'm glad you joined it. You tuned in and joined me. Maybe you can keep this going and we can make this thing a success. Thank you for joining Music City Trop Rock, and I can't wait to see you next time. Keep rocking.